how did this whole thing begin? In the beginning there was God.
Yes, but God in the beginning was far different than that which we are calling God now is, because God is so much further expanded.
Right, but there was a beginning. I mean, that's always been hard for me to understand, clear back as a child, is there's no beginning, there's no end. We always were and we always will be.
Well, the easiest way to explain it, or maybe the best excuse we have for not explaining it, is we're all pointed forward. In other words, the new thought is born out of what is now. And as we turn our attention to the new thought, then we expand joyously with the new thought. And in truth, we cannot look back, because we cannot reclaim the vibration that was before where we are now. And so those who have been tuned into this energy that translate it by saying there was no beginning and there is no ending, that's the best description they can do with this ongoing energy from where you stand. In other words, those actually are extremely accurate words. Let's take a simple thought or an idea and ponder it for a moment. In the moment that any consciousness, now this is where your question is, what was the first consciousness? But let's leave that behind just for a moment. So here is a consciousness having a thought. And in the moment that that thought begins to offer a vibration, now there is a difference between the vibrating thought and the thought that was thought right before that thought vibrated. So there is vibrational difference between the two thoughts and vibrational perspective. So now this thought, which has become an immediate thinker, can now perceive that thought as that thought can perceive that thought. And in that process, there is born yet another thought. And yet another thought, and yet another thought. And the expansion is so fast and so quick. In other words, you think that it is amazing to watch cells replicate in a petri dish. You should see what thoughts are doing. And so the thinker thinks the thought, now the thought becomes a thinker, and that thinker thinks a thought, and that thought becomes a thinker, which thinks a thought. And so it is just exponentially exploding. And at the basis of all of it, this energy or stream of well-being. So you say, well, where did the stream get started? And we say, within everything, there is that which is an absence of it. And that is the duality of your universe that exists. And so for something to exist, there has to be an awareness of the absence of it, and the absence of it is what makes its existence possible. Interesting, isn't it? And so then just that perspective continues to cause it to expand. And so now when you speak of that which is God, we say God has been expanding right here in this room as together we are taking thought beyond that which it has been before.
A lot of people don't understand when they talk about God and you say, well, we're God too. It's a little hard for them to understand.
There are a number of reasons for that. The biggest reason is as you look out even into your physical environment, you just have to be knocked over by the extraordinary nature of it. And as man, you know, you can't even scrape enough dirt together, let alone launch it into orbit in some way. In other words, so there is a certain amount of humility that comes just from perceiving as you perceive. You know there must be something bigger, something grander, something more than what you are. And in that acknowledgement, often you assume yourself as substandard or less than, rather than understanding that you are part of. That's why we talk endlessly about reaching for that feeling that lets you know that in this moment you are an extension of that. Because, to be lined up with that source and using the power of the specifics of what you are focused upon, there's no greater, more exhilarating feeling than that. Whether it is scientific or musically creative or artistic or medical, it doesn't matter what endeavor you are focused upon. To be out here on the leading edge, fully focused with source energy pouring through you, God is in his heyday, or all that is in its heyday, however you want to approach it or call it. This is where it's happening out here in this culminating now powerful moment.
Once I learned to understand the now and live in the now, it just all clicks. And that's what it's about. So the religions and everything, that just come from mass consciousness of just man not having adequate ways of explaining the non-physical?
Well, religion has come about. There are two ways of approaching this. There are many who, through time, in fact, all have the ability, while all do not experience it, of translating broader perspective. In other words, you all are extensions of that, and you are all never separated from that, and you all have access to that. And so as man asks questions, the answers always come. And some get in a place where they can clearly articulate the answers. But what happens is the answers must always be articulated through your basis of belief. As we're expressing to you here, we cannot speak to you other than through the perspective that you understand. So even in the word God, there is huge distortion, because when the word God is thrown out, it activates all kinds of vibrations within you that are nothing like that which we know that which you are calling God is, you see. So the religion is created very much as this body of work has been created, although Jerry and Esther are determined that it will never be a religion. But after they are dead, it probably will be. As this energy is flowing through and it is articulated, you could call that the forming of religion. And the basis of it is the asking and the answering. But there is another basis of religion that is more what you are feeling and speaking about here, and that goes like this. We are assuming the place of a physical human religionist. I really want to live a good life, and I really want to be of value, and I really want to feel good. And as I see that, I do feel good, so I encourage it. But as I see that, I don't feel good, so I discourage it. And I have not really come to know that I can choose and feel and therefore allow. I still believe that my happiness is dependent upon the circumstances, so I become a controller of circumstances. And to the degree that I can control things outside of me, to that degree, I have this elusive dream of my own personal joy. And that is the basis of most religion. They are well-meaning, they want to feel good, they want you to live good, but they believe that they must control circumstances. And then it just goes on and on and on and on and on. It's impossible, you see.
I just want to say I'm very thankful for the Abraham teachings, and once I learned how to be happy and allow, it's just killer and amazing.
Oh, you're just getting started.
Oh, I know.
What is before you is unfathomable.
I'm counting on that.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, indeed.